Hello and welcome to another episode of Diablo IV. This is the episode where I explore kind of the endgame activities, the different tournament stuff, the different events, all that kind of stuff, including bossing and getting up into the endgame. Now, first off, I do want to say that it's going to be a little bit jumpy because I'm going to be doing this over multiple sessions and multiple levels. But one of the first things I want to do is I want to show off one of the seasonal events. So there are these Seal of Power tomes. These are an additional seasonal mechanic that will be gone in the future, so I may as well show these off. So basically each one of these is a recipe which allows you to create a specific Horadrim jewel. So we have Stay a While and Listen, says Deckard Cain in every single one of these. We have the Seal of Power tome. And what these do, I believe, is they allow you to create these jewels in the Horadrim Lapidary. Alright, so if we head there to the Horadrim Lapidary, craft jewels, we have Sparks of Creation, which is gives me armor, resistance to elements, and you gain 5 primary resource after casting one of your spells. Meanwhile, the Seal of Power has also, so all of them seem to have 120 armor and 6. Once again, you are able to get duplicates, so these are useless to me. So some are arcane, some are catalysts. And it seems like each one has a little blurb, a little text. So I'll gather all of these and then I'll read them in one go. But basically, you just create them. Now, of course, some are better than others for specific builds. In my case, if I look at a little guide, the Horadrim Crest is good, which I do not have, and Scornful Light is good, which I do not have, and finally Idle from Below is good, which I do not have. So I will not be crafting one right now, but I'll be making a cut to doing so later and reading all of these. Now, there has been a first event for this season. We're about, what, 20-ish or 30 days into the season, and you get a bonus cache from Grim Whispers, so I may as well, pop it. And among other things, I am given, Gift of the Tree. And that's kind of it. Very boring. No Mother's Blessing, so I won't be able to power level, which is a real shame. And very lackluster so far. So one thing that was changed in the previous seasons was the whole bossing ladder, you could call it, with the different materials, the different bosses. And that is something that has stayed. Like Belial is still here. You still have Harbinger's Den. You still have the whole, basically, chain. And what they have is they actually have a quest for lair bosses. So speak with the woman in Tarsarak. There's a woman in Tarsarak who wants to speak with me. May as well show that off real quick because it is new to the season. Sayina, do you need something?
You seem a hearty warrior, Wanderer. You'll need to be. Hell's most powerful demons lurk throughout Sanctuary and must be dealt with. Even Belial himself lies in wait, biding his time and plotting sweet lies to whisper in your ear.
So once again, we have the kind of information coming forward. So fight powerful lair bosses across Sanctuary for immense rewards and a chance at building ancestral mythic unique items. Various activities yield the keys required to open lair bosses hoards, which contains keys needed to open more powerful lair bosses hoards. So keys lead to keys. Each lair bosses hoard has a high chance at earning specific unique items. Higher powered lair bosses hoards have a greater chance at mythic unique items, so there's a higher chance for that. And Belial waits to ambush after opening any lair boss's hoard. Defeat him to earn keys to open his Supreme Form's hoard within the Palace of the Deceiver. So that's the exact same as previous seasons. So that's good. And also Sayina, the woman who talked, was actually the quest giver for previous seasons. So she's back. I don't know if they'll keep this in future seasons where she'll be talking to people to inform them. They might, because it's just like a conversation. Same as in like Caress Bazaar. And it could be useful, I guess, for new players. So that's happening. I will, of course, be doing some lair dungeon stuff. I'll probably show that off towards the end of the episode when I get to higher Tormenteers. Alright, so it's been a while now for me since I last played this. I'm up to level 188, and I'm getting close to completing the season's journey as far as I want to. I want to complete champion. I figured it would be a good opportunity to show off one of the escalation nightmares. After all, I do have to complete a few of them on Torment Tier 2 to, you know, complete this objective, Night Terrors. So I just wanted to show that there are quite a few different ones. Each one, just like a Nightmare Dungeon, has different affixes and different, like, malices. I've done a couple with parties, but I figured I'd do one by myself right now. And one thing I also want to show real quick is that I've done the Horadrim Focus. You need a lot of Horadrim knowledge to get up to the higher levels. I don't quite remember how much you need for tier 18, maybe like 180,000, but it is far slower than in the Season of the Bosses, where you would get a lot passively when fighting bosses. So just for reference, I'm at 232,270. We'll see how much I have after doing one of these Nightmare Sigils. And they're pretty long, so I'll probably be making some cuts throughout, but should be good. Alright, so here we are, and it's basically just like another Nightmare Dungeon, essentially, more or less. However, each one has mini gold chests have been stashed here, killing monsters is a chance to spawn a blood blister, and this world has a chance of spawning a Horadrim strong room. So I didn't choose the guaranteed strong rooms. It is, once again, like, possible, but not guaranteed. Like, these chests, at least, give lots of gold, so that's nice, I guess. And, essentially, you have to complete 3 of these. Each level is, I guess, a little bit more difficult. That's why they're called escalating. But I'll be doing one of these in the background, maybe showing some random footage here and there, making some cuts to make sure that this isn't as long, because it's basically just 3 Nightmare Dungeons in a row, and then you fight Astaroth. So, yeah, making a cut right now. Alright, so we killed the boss, we completed the dungeon, and you come here to essentially a teleportation. Teleport to the next dungeon, where I'll get a Horadrim Strong Room, which is very nice, Dark Omen, Cultist, and Obuside Mine. So, extra Obuside and the Stronghold, which is going to be very useful. Now, once again, it's just another Nightmare Dungeon. And if, you know, I'll be making a cut to the Horadrim Gateway. And it was basically here at the start, so that's nice. Now, it turns out that I'm a bit over-leveled for Torment Tier 2. I was a bit unsure, and I didn't want to waste one of my sigils on Torment Tier 3 in case I couldn't do it by myself. I've mostly been playing with other people when doing activities like these. And to be fair, I've mostly been doing the pit, so I think the way to do this season and have fun is actually to do these in groups of people, and to maybe do Undercity stuff for boss materials. So, Guide Ghost Apparitions to Pillars for 75 Horadrim Attunement could be quite useful when you have multiple people. It sucks when you're by yourself, so we're not going to do that. Monster Kills grant 25 Attunement for 10 seconds. Health cooldown potion, I mean, that's fine. And Lunatics killing them grants 8 Horadrim Attunement, and I guess I'll do kill stuff to get. Okay, these spawn out of nowhere, that's fine. So let's go. Let's see how far we can get.
Unfortunately.
By myself, I was never really able to get more than 4 prior. Not sure how this is going to go. Getting up to level 6 is probably not going to happen. But with a party, just having like one additional person really, really helps. Like a lot. So I highly recommend, if people are going to start playing this season, or well, by the time this comes out, maybe the season is already over. But it seems like Blizzard is really incentivizing things where you kind of have to party up. And if I'm going to be completely honest, having played this game for quite a while, I actually think it's a good thing that there are advantages to partying up. You know, might allow for some social interaction. Not always, but potentially. So I actually managed to get up to level 6, which ends the timer ahead of time. So that's actually quite nice. Right, so I got an escalation sigil, which is quite nice. That does remind me that there are advantages that you can use. So let's actually do that. I'd rather not die. We'll keep it like this. Alright, so what bonus did I get? I got, you gain increased experience for monster kills, which is fine. It's okay. So, the next dungeon tier is going to be the exact same. Oh, look at this. There's actually a little boss monster right here. I've also, I will say, met the Butcher quite a few times. I guess he has a random chance of spawning in Nightmare Dungeons, so if you join a party where everyone can use their Nightmare Sigils, you can basically do a rotation. Like, you know, he doesn't show up all the time, but maybe he has an increased chance at higher difficulties. I'm not quite sure. So it's quite good. Like, I recommend partying up. It's a good way to get a lot of loot and equipment as well. And a lot more experience very quick. So I'm just doing this by myself just kind of to show it off. But when I'm going to be playing this by myself afterwards, I'm going to be doing this in a party, essentially. Just rotating escalation sigils and all that stuff. Especially at higher tiers, it's very useful. Like, right now, I get absolutely crushed, Torment Tier 4. But I believe I'm relatively strong at Torment Tier 3, so with a party, Tier 3 should be pretty good. I still haven't been able to get any mythics yet, but maybe I would be able to show off some of those at the end of the episode. That'd be kind of fun. Alright, anyway, making a cut. So here we are in the third Nightmare Dungeon of the escalation situation. And once again, I got a Horadrim Strong Room, which is very nice. I think they have a higher chance of spawning for escalation sigils because, as I recall it, when doing a few of these with other people, like, there would usually be a strong room almost every single time, if not multiple times. So there's probably like a percentage chance that's a bit higher, which I think is good. You do want these strong rooms to be available so people can actually get their glyphs. So I actually got a different boss fighting this time. Now, I believe I actually do have all of the... I almost have all the Arcana. There's just one I don't have, which I got just now. So officially I have all the Arcana and all that stuff, so that's nice. Anyway, making a cut to Astaroth. Alright, here we go. So this is, I believe, the final dungeon that I need to do. I've done 3 so far. It should be Astaroth at this point. Never mind. Yeah, okay, here we go. Astaroth's Lair, Nightmare Escalation, Tier 4. So it is actually like a dungeon region, but like a small one. So, killing Astaroth grants a large amount of Horadrim knowledge. Astaroth's rewards include more unique items. Astaroth's rewards include a large amount of Horadrim vials. The place is not right. Someone or something stalks you here. Pestilent bugs have infested the place. Additionally, gain 30 extra life, and Astaroth now has meter attacks, which I don't think will be a problem. So we have 55,000 Horadrim knowledge, plus the 7,000 before. So you do get quite a bit from these, actually, to be fair. And I have 22,200 Horadrim vials. So let's see how much we get.
How I've dreamed of this moment. Let us fight.
Right, he's gonna jump off
Did
his
you
dog.
think it was over? Oh, wanderer, we've only
There we go. Pretty easy at this Tormenteer with the equipment I have.
the pain of destruction. Until next time, wanderer.
So I got like, what, 6,000 Horadrim knowledge? Something like that. Well, still going. So you do actually get a lot of Horadrim vials. It seems like 2,000. Thereabouts. So it is actually quite good to chain him. Now imagine if you have a party of like 4 people doing them together, just rotating them over and over again. You can knock these out maybe at 10 times as quick. Well, not 10 times as quick, but maybe half as quick again as I did it. Like, it took me like 22 minutes-ish to do this, and I think you can do it with a party in under 10 minutes each time. So I will say, I guess, I've been doing a lot of the pit, and I haven't been getting enough heroic knowledge, but with the with the escalation sigils, you do actually get quite a bit of this heroic knowledge. So that's, you know, fair enough. And these do actually give quite a few ancestrals, so they're pretty good. So that was one of the legendary escalation sigils, showing that off. Basically, 3 nightmare dungeons and Astaroth. Now, one other thing that you can do is you can craft these jewels, and I believe I have most of them at this point. Seems like I have 4, 4, 1, and 6. Now, considering I got a duplicate from the Idol from Below tome, I think I got all of them. There might be a few more, but I don't think so. So they all said stay a while and listen, which I read before. And I figured I may as well read all of these and then craft the one I want. So Herodic Crest, each incantation is crucial, the result is extraordinary. Seal of Control, the knowledge of domination to contain chaos. The Seal of Denial, the knowledge of rebuttal to humble detractors. The Seal of Power, the knowledge of strength to unleash potential. The Luminite Eye, patience, stillness, and then illumination. The Myriad Stone, you can't keep your eye focused on this bauble. Spark of Creation, from its depths are rendered worlds. The Star Flux, no power stronger, no burden greater, the weight of the sky falls upon your shoulders. The Brilliant Sigil, this marking, proud and bright, nearly blinds. The Idol from Below, the aura is impressive even if it makes your skin crawl. Liminal, and that's one that we're actually going to craft. I'm going to put it in here. Gives me armor resistance to elements, and I gain primary core stat and maximum life and unhindered, which seems pretty good. So yeah, the aura is impressive even if it makes your skin crawl. Liminal Echo, it reverberates through your very being, let it guide the way. Rivery Horn, a reckless dance bound to leave death. A reckless dance bound to leave death in its wake. Scornful Light, the dawn reveals all, caring little for what should be left in the dark. And finally, Tyrant's Bane. Those born of greatness are stricken to fall the furthest. Now, another quest that I have to complete is to actually use the Heroic Vials for Herodic Knowledge, which I can use to get sockets. Now, the conversion is pretty bad, so 2,000 Herodic Vials for just 200 knowledge. I'll be getting, let's say, well, let's just create 10 of them. And that gave me Herodic Knowledge, but it gave it to this character. So it doesn't even allow you to move on to alts. Now, I might be able to get one in an alt. I really regret getting all 10 now, because I figured they would be an item, just like prior. Gosh darn it. But let's see if I can do it with an alt right now. So here I have a brand new character. Now I'm not able to actually use the scrolls until you get to level 15, which takes a lot of time. So gone is the time where you could just power level one character and then get all the Herodic Knowledge for sigils or Resplendent Sparks. You actually need to play a lot with every single alt to get to that point. Now, if you get to level 15, you can then use the Herodic Knowledge to power through to the final 3 levels, which is required because, I mean, these require a lot. But they've kind of ended the exploit of being able to have one main character and then get lots of Resplendent Sparks, which I find is quite a shame. Alright, so I'll be making a cut to maybe some bosses and potentially some Undercity runs in the background, because that is the best way to actually get mythics. Okay. And in addition to that, I'll also be talking about what I think of the season so far at the end of the episode. Alright, so I am doing an Escalating Nightmare right now, which is one of the new endgame activities for this season. And I'm actually doing one of the challenge runs, one of the last objectives for the seasonal story that you're supposed to do. And it is the completed in under 10 minutes. I actually managed to do it with my alt character, the clone, but because I didn't complete the season's quest line, it didn't actually count, so I'm having to do this a second time. Unfortunately, of course, the audio for the game has decided to end for no real reason, but I'm just gonna have to put in some background music, maybe speed up the footage, all that good stuff, and hopefully it will be enjoyable anyway. Basically, the way this works, I figure I'll show the whole thing, is that you have a nightmare dungeon, and you complete it. That gets you to the next nightmare dungeon, you complete it, a third nightmare dungeon, and you complete it, and then finally you fight Astaroth at the end. Now these nightmare dungeons are all different from each other, so they could be anyone's. So it could be like one from Noantu, one from Skosglen, one from, you know, wherever. And in addition to that, I'm kind of unused to playing this character right now. You can get like Horadrim strong rooms, you can get the Forgotten Wisdom, which is this one. Hopefully we find the Forgotten Wisdom soon, because I want that bonus 20% experience. Alright, let's go for the next one. Yeah, so here's the strong room right there. We're going to ignore that because we're trying to do the sub 10 minutes. So I'll probably be making a cut, perhaps. We'll see. Depends upon how quick everything goes. Alright, so we're down to the third dungeon right now, which is pretty good. It's only been like 5 minutes, so way more optimistic this time. And we are tier 4, so everything goes to plan. Actually be able to complete this season's objective. Now it sucks because I did actually complete it with my alt, my clone, which has the other build, which is way stronger. Alright, it is time to fight Astaroth. It's been about 7 minutes since I started this nightmare dungeon, this escalating nightmare dungeon, so 3 minutes to kill Astaroth. Considering Gojo has like mythics and stuff and is really powerful, I'm relatively optimistic. Yeah, this seems like it's gonna work pretty well. I really do wish that I had sound on. But alas, you're gonna have to suffer through it with just some music. Alright, there we go. Visions of Pain complete. Fantastic. Alright, so once again Blizzard has added a little seasonal event. Slay packs of goblins. Hunt a variety of devious gremlins in March of the Goblins. So this happened a few years ago, I guess at this point, like in one of the earlier seasons. They've returned with it. Crush greedy goblins. From July 29th to August 6th, treasure goblins of 1 week emerge from their den, spawning at an increased rate. Slay the abundant horse to earn reputation tied to your individual progress. Earn resplendent rewards. Completing the reputation board will earn you a resplendent spark. Then continue to complete this tier for even more rewards. Visit the goblin statue in Central Kyovashad to begin your hunt. So let's check that out right now. Oh, okay, there's also acquire the Hound of Hell. Complete your season's journey to earn Dante the Hound of Hell in Season 9. So they're really pushing for you to get Dante. Complete Chapter 6 of the season's journey to earn Dante the Hellhound, a hellishly good boy. The Fiery Pooch can assist with gold and materials pickups. Yeah, of course. We'll try to do that as well. Alright, so here we go. So this is the Altar of the Goblin. We can interact with it, and we can see that you have to kill goblins to get the different ranks. Apparently I've already killed 2. So they retroactively add these in, because these were killed way, way back. You have to get all the way up to tier 10 to acquire the Resplendent Spark. It's good that they added the Resplendent Spark because it's really hard to get these this time in comparison to previous seasons where you could kind of do the season's journey multiple times. So, good addition. Maybe I'll cut to some goblin slaying. If not, I'll just cut to when I have the altar. Alright, I have progressing in the goblin event. Now, quite a few goblins do emerge in Nightmare Dungeons, so doing those is pretty smart. Also, this area near Kid Bordeaux kind of has like a path where usually when resetting, I kind of stumble on maybe 3 or 4. Not always, but sometimes. One thing of note is that the amount that you needed prior has been 6 all the time, but I guess for the final one you need 12. So it did actually increase just now. I was about to say you only needed 6 the whole time, but it seems like it increased. And I figured while I'll be cutting to the final loot soon enough, I'd read some of these. So most of them are just use as cash to receive your rewards. However, there are some gifts. So aside from the tier 2 reward, there's also Baron's Gift. Also slightly increases the chance for treasure goblins to drop treasure bags during the March of the Goblins. Seasonal item. And then you have Ector's Gift, which does the same. I thought there was going to be some flavored text. Never mind. There's Merle's Gift. Then there is Prim's Gift, which is runes. And then finally there is Fedric's Gift, which is a mythic unique event reward. And a spark, basically. So, making a cut to... Well, let's just see what tier 9 has. Just in comparison. Right? Some items. And I think that these additional caches... like these are connected to the expansion, so you get extra stuff if you have the expansion, which is kind of part of the course. So let's make a cut to the final reward. Alright, so this is finally here, a Mother's Blessing towards the tail end of the season, and it is from now until August 12th. It's August 5th right now, so it's one more week of this. 35% experience, 50% gold. I guess better late than never. It's at the same time as the Slay the Goblins event thing, so I guess that's kind of nice. I could have used that quite a few weeks earlier because this is kind of towards the tail end of the season, and I'm basically almost finished recorded everything, so yeah, yay, I guess. But oh, the lag. Alright, so I want to show off the final tier of the Goblin thing. First off, you get a title, tier 10 reward. Legendary emblem, so not a title, emblem. A legendary Goblin gift, which should be only 1 ancestral so far. Not very good. And some Goblin caches for Undercities. Let's see here if they are just rare. Or maybe those were legendary. I guess that's nice. And finally some runes. And let's see, socket bowls. 1 legendary rune. Amazing. Well, finally, we got Frederick's Gift. Or Frederick's Gift. It is a bit of a grift, though. Which is a Resplendent Spark and a mess of runes are effectually tied to the hilt of a rusty sword. Frederick's dream surpasses craftsmanship. So yeah, 1 Resplendent Spark, which is fine. Considering I don't really have the runes to craft what I need yet. Not super useful, but last time I gambled and I actually got both of the mythics I needed. But last time I was able to farm basically 4 Resplendent Sparks via the, well, the alts. And this time that's not possible. It's really, really difficult. This is locked to all characters. You cannot redo the Goblin event multiple times. And the Horadrim knowledge stuff, you have to get all the way up to tier 15 before you can actually use the vials. So once you get there, you can use them. I sort of find that reasonable if it was like tier 5 or tier 10. But it's tier 15, you're more than half the way there, so it's very punishing. But that was the Goblin event, and I guess I got the Mother's Blessing as well, so maybe making a cut to something else this season. If not, I'll be cutting to just chatting about it right now. Alright, so this season has a final little boost this 1 week. So from August 26th to September 2nd, so that is 1 week, you get way more Heroic Vials all across Sanctuary, and you get more Horadrim knowledge from these vials which would have been very useful before. And then also the Mother's Blessings return. You get 35% gold and 50%, or 35% experience, 50% gold. So that's, I guess, a nice little thing. But once again, it's just 1 week. They should do these 2 weeks. They should have done this one earlier, in my opinion. And also, the Herodic Knowledge was nerfed, or it was really bad from the start. So, yeah. Let's see how much Herodic Knowledge you get from these different things. So I do actually have the tier 18 reward, but let's see. A Herodic Knowledge. So they basically doubled the amount of Herodic Knowledge you get. So it might be worth it to create another alt just for the additional Resplendent Spark. I'm a little bit skeptical about that, but maybe. Like, it's so hard to get these Resplendent Sparks to begin with, but I might give it a show just to try it out. Alright, making a cut right now. Alright, so we are at the end of this episode. The final thing I'm going to do is try to get myself 2 mythics. I have been playing quite a bit, been leveling up alts, been trying to do all these different things, trying to get the runes required for Ring of the Starless Skies, but unfortunately I am shy of the, well, the 5 legendary runes, the Ohm right there. I've done a lot of Undercity runs, I've done a lot of bossing, just hasn't panned out. So what we are going to do, because I have 4 Resplendent Sparks, is we're going to be gambling. That's right, we're doing it twice. Let's see if this is successful. An amulet, which is not what I want, and a chest, which is not what I want. So I got 2 mythics, neither of those are the ones that I need. I guess I could salvage them and try again.
I forge more than horseshoes and nails.
So I guess we're doing that.
What's left,
I'm gonna do
you
it
ask?
one more time. And unfortunately not. So that was my attempts at getting the mythics. Quite disappointing. This season it was really difficult to get them. I could probably farm more Resplendent Sparks with alts, but alas, that's not gonna happen. When everything was doubled, I probably, if I'd pushed, could have maybe farmed like 6 or 7 Resplendent Sparks over a couple of days, but a bit of fatigue for the game and also some real life stuff meant that I never did that. And this season, I think, is the first season, at least in a while, where I didn't get the mythics that I needed. The final thing we're going to do in this episode is talk a little bit about this season. The seasonal story will be discussed more next episode, which will be the compilation of the entire seasonal story. But the short answer for that one is it was disappointing. It wasn't as good as the Witch one, but it was better than some of the others. I was hoping for more. Like always, they kind of disappoint when it comes to the story aspect of it. As for the mechanics this season, I thought they were pretty good. Powers, once again, which is a little bit boring, but the powers at least felt strong. And the gems, kind of like the heads from the Season of Witchcraft, felt strong as well. I'd say that the scaling for the Resplendent Sparks was, in my opinion, very punishing and a lot slower than the previous ones. And they really nerfed alts when it came to farming Resplendent Sparks. I feel like some of that was in the right direction, but they overcorrected, so wasn't all too happy with about... Well, not all too happy about that. When it came to the escalating nightmares, those are going to stay in future seasons, and I think that's good. I'd put them on the same level as Infernal Hordes, which I think are going to be reworked next season. But it's going to be like a good staple endgame activity, and Diablo needs more of those. So adding another one means that the game is better. It wasn't amazing. I feel like it barely met the minimum requirement for what a season should add. And I mean, it did, reach that bar, but I wish that there was more to the season. I wish there were more gameplay changes. The events themselves were all very short. They were mostly like 1 week. Some of them were just a couple of days. And a lot of them were kind of unimpressive. The Goblin one, I guess, was maybe had the biggest reward, you could say. Otherwise, there kind of really wasn't anything. Once again, Blizzard has kind of been disappointing when it comes to like holiday events. It would be cool if they did some more stuff with that. So yeah, I'd say that this season was decent. I'm getting a little bit of Diablo IV fatigue. it is fun to play, but I think, you know, if I would just own this game by myself and I wasn't uploading content for it, I think playing this every other or every third season would mean that it would be a really fun game. But playing this every single season is starting to feel a little bit punishing, to be honest, especially trying to get up to the endgame content, trying to get the mythics, all that stuff. So we'll see how I do next season. I will be playing that one, but maybe I won't actually do much more than just explore the endgame content up to like world tier 1 or 2. I'm not quite sure if I want to go all the way up to tier 4, basically. And I don't think that that really speaks for the strength of the game. That, oh, if you play every single season, you're going to get sick of it. I don't really think that is a glowing recommendation, so to speak. But we'll see what Blizzard delivers on Season 10. I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. I know it was a bit messy trying to combine all the different things together, but I hope it was still entertaining and gives a good overview of how the season went and how it played. I upload content 5 days a week. Diablo 4 will return both tomorrow with the season story compilation. I hope you check that out. And with the subsequent season, Season 10. Do let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this season. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Did you play it? I know Diablo 4 has declined a bit in popularity, but I think there's still quite a few casual people who play it. And yeah, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.